Welcome back to Minecraft in a series that I have tentatively started to call Downward Bound Builds a Town because it sort of rhymes. You may notice that I've had a few more changes in the area. We now have 2 more roads down here. There we go. And the buildings that used to be right here that were being built in the last episode have been moved way down here. Well, not way down here, just a little farther out, but they're over here now. Oh, and this guy's new too, but he's not. That's not finished. Anyway, I have got a lot of grind work to do getting this road all together. Sun's going down already. So I thought that rather than put off making a video, I would just do some of this on camera and tell a little bit of a story about the time a man with one eye, one hand, and one foot told me a story about his grandfather. Now, his grandfather's name, well, everyone called him Dickleg Pete because he had the name Richard tattooed on his ankle. And nobody knew why he had the name Richard tattooed on his ankle, because he never told and nobody felt like asking. Now, Dickleg Pete, whose real name was Frank, had a habit of teasing dogs at the junkyard at the edge of town when he was a younger guy. And so every once in a while he would take off with a slab of bacon and just wave it in front of him. Just wave it in front of him through the fence. And one day, when he was going about his usual habit of being a jerk, I guess, he noticed that there were fewer dogs than usual. But he didn't pay a whole lot of mind to it. Just went about his business. And when he got bored, let's see, where do I want to make this? Up there a little farther. And when he got bored, of course, he threw that slab of bacon over the fence to the dogs and wiped his hands on his pants and headed home. Well, it didn't take long before he started to hear a rustling behind him. And again, he didn't pay much mind to it. Figured, squirrels or something in the grass, you know. Well, it wasn't much longer than that. That rustling had become panting. And that was when Dickleg Pete started running. And he didn't get much more than a couple of steps before he found that missing dog attached to his rear end. And then that, as I was told, is how Dickleg Pete came to be known as Half-Assed Andy. A name chosen more for alliteration, I suppose, than accuracy, because, again, his name was Frank. Well, Frank eventually settled down a little bit. Met a woman named Wilma that everybody would describe as wily, because she had a habit of getting into trouble just so that she could get out of it, so that she could weasel her way out. And she was purportedly quite good at it. I think I want that thing. Eventually, half-assed Andy and wily Wilma had a son. When he grew up, everybody took to calling him Fat Freddy, because he was 7 feet tall and weighed all of 160 pounds soaking wet. Oh no, you don't, you stupid creeper. Go away. Blow up my clay again. I don't know where they keep spawning. Anyway, where was I? Oh, Fat Freddy. Yeah. Fat Freddy. He worked in real estate insurance and did pretty well for himself too. There we go. Until one day he met a woman working for a traveling circus who went by the stage name... Oh, are you kidding me? Interrupting my story, stupid creepers. Yeah, I see you over here. Go away, jerk. Why are you so many of you guys? Get back to my story. Nobody's gonna blow me up. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, Fat Freddy met a woman working at a local circus. It wasn't a local circus. I was told it was a traveling circus. Who went by the stage name Minnie Matilde, because she was 4'6" standing on her toes. Ah, tree. Now Fat Freddy and Minnie Matilde ran away together, and they started a carnival banner company. So they were responsible for a lot of those old-timey banners and posters and pennants for various, circus and carnival shows. Well, eventually they settled down, and they, too, had a son. As it turned out, happened to be the fella telling me the story, whose name I never did get, unfortunately, as I've never been able to refer to him as anything but a stranger that told me a story. Well, there's a skeleton over here. I don't have a bow. Anywho, yeah, I keep forgetting where I was. This one-eyed, one-handed, one-footed fellow told me that he was headed out west. He was going out west because they had money out there and they were just giving it away. And then we parted our ways and never really heard much of him. Well, I didn't see or hear anything of him again for about 12 years. Until one day I just happened to be in a tiny little town that really wasn't much more than the train tracks running through it. And I saw him sitting with a young woman that looked to be about half his age. our storytelling friend happened to be missing his left eye, his right hand, and his left foot. And as it turned out, this woman was missing her right eye, her left hand, and her right leg from the knee down. Where do I want to put this? Right here. Yeah. No, I can't put it there. This one eventually told me that her name was Linda Lee, but that most people that had known her for a while took to calling her Lucky Linda. And as I found out, Lucky Linda was about the least lucky person, the most unlucky person I have ever met. And as the stories came out, as the stories came out, I found out that she had less than great youth. She'd run off from home quite young, run in with a group of less than ideal characters, and they were the type to just go around getting into trouble and causing a lot of trouble for just about anyone that happened to be going by. Well, one day this group got it into their heads that it would be a good idea to throw something on the tracks. And true to her name, Lucky Linda just happened to be the closest thing at hand. So they threw her. And the train came. And that was how Lucky Linda lost her hand and her leg. Which told me anyway that that was the best day of her life. And that was pretty much the end of it. She didn't elaborate, and I certainly did not ask. But I've wondered a lot, and I've wondered often since then, what kind of days a person needs to be passing that being run over by a train is the best they'd ever had. I have never had any answer to it either. And I probably never will. Well, soon enough came time to stop telling stories and go our ways, and our storytelling friend told me then the same thing he told me over a decade before. And he was headed out west because they had money out there and they were just giving it away. And it may have been my imagination, or it may be a trick of the memory, but I could swear that Linda, as he was saying it, gave me a look that seemed to say that she didn't believe it anymore. And that really was the last I ever saw or heard anything from them again. I like to think that you know, I like to think that he eventually did make it out west. And maybe they really did have money out there they were just giving away. But, you know, maybe they settled down and, you know, lived a life and had a good time of it. But, you know, I doubt it. I doubt it. Anyway, that's the story. Well, part of the story. The bare bones of the story is what that is, but interesting enough, I suppose. Now these roads here. These roads are going to be very big. Bigger than I had imagined when I started. So I've got a lot of grinding to do before I can start actually building the town proper. Gotta put in the spine of the city here, and then all the bones and the arteries and the veins to put in too. So I'm going to keep working on that, and I will that fountain, I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. If anyone has any suggestions, because it's a little oversized, and as it is, it's a big gray blob framed by a big gray blob, so it kind of disappears, except for the water. That's a bright blue. That's a very silly blue, really, when you think about it, but yeah, any ideas if I should keep it and incorporate it into the whole thing, or if I should move it or make it smaller or something. I don't know. Let me know. I like the shape of it, at the very least. It's just very big for that spot. Yeah. But that's all I've got for stories and anything now. From here on, it's just a whole lot of grinding out clay and dirt and road. So, I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this one. And bye-bye. When I'm feeling sad, when I'm feeling low, I just let it all go and I dance, 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 dance. Dance, dance!